You got to bring something to God that he can work with, not something he has to work on. Most of us spend our Christian life going to God, trying to get God to work on us, when the truth is, God's done a work, the complete work on us. We got to now apply that and give God something that he can work with, not something he has to work on, because God can't work on them other two. I got to work on them other two. God's already done a work. So instead of spending all of our prayer time and all of our time going to God, trying to get God to work on me, I need to work on me and bring me into line so that God has something to work with. When you go to God to work on you, you haven't realized that God's work in you is complete. You feel incomplete, but you are complete. You as a spirit being, you are complete. Work out of that. When stuff comes, or a memory comes, or a picture comes, or a knowledge comes that's contrary to who you are in Christ and what the mirror says you are, then you got to take that and say, no, that's the way I'm used to that. It's always been that way, but I'm changing it today. I'm changing it because of who I am in Christ, and I put my head up, shoulders back, and I'm going to take that thing on, I'm going to renew my mind, and I'm going to make that conform to the way it's supposed to be, not the way it has always been. And religion won't do that for you. And if church just teach religion out of sin consciousness or carnality, always catering to the flesh, woe is me, God, you'll travel mountains and whatever just to get me, so I can just be wayward and you'll rescue me. God's already rescued you. You don't need rescuing. You need sanctification of your mind and sanctification of your body. God's not out on a rescue mission looking for you. He's already looked for you in Christ, and if you conform or give your life to Christ, you're already saved. But don't spend most of your life going to God. As I said, bring something to God that he can work with, not something that he keeps having to work on. Work on something you can present to God that he can work through. I know that might just sound like a play of words, but it's not. It's a completely different thought. If you want to spend most of your life going to God, spending your life and presenting yourself as something that God has to work on, then God can never work through you, because he's always constantly working on you. You're never good enough. You're never qualified. You haven't arrived. And if you fix one thing, there's always another thing. So you spend most of your life before God religiously trying to get him to work on you. Wrong. God's already done a work on you. It's already a complete work in you. Now you got to take you, do something with you so you can bring it to God and say, God, here's something that you can work with, not work on, or work on something that you can present to God that he can work through. And the reason God doesn't work through people is because they spend most of the time going to God to get God to work on them.